The UN mission is coming to an end after 13 years of heavy UN presence. The UN country team will remain, but the large peacekeeping presence the UN has had since 1999 will no longer be there as of December this year. I know there were a number of world firsts. For example, the first ever report done on the right to food, on an economic, social and cultural right, was done in the mission in Timor. The first ever report on the rights of persons with disabilities was published last year by our mission and our section in Timor-Leste and the human rights team. And it's not only that we published material, that's not the important point. It's what that led to. It was raising the profile of the rights of persons with disabilities, for example, in this case, changing the lives of individuals we were assisting to realize their rights, having them access social services that they were not plugged into until they realized what their rights were and had someone to speak to about what those rights were and how to access them. It was about their participation in elections for the first time, because we were able to convince national authorities that persons with disabilities need to participate and also to act as observers themselves to make sure their own rights to vote are realized and respected. So it was empowerment of people and them realizing their rights and being part of that process and seeing that realized that I think was the most inspiring. And a number of things that have been done there which have never really been done anywhere else. For example, every year the president of Timor-Leste grants awards for human rights, and a number of awards: economic, social and cultural rights awards, political and civil rights awards. It's an annual procedure. It comes with a grant, sometimes to individuals, sometimes to organizations, for their contribution for the promotion of human rights. They're given out on Human Rights Day every year, annually. The National Parliament of Timor-Leste has the only national plenary session of Parliament in the world I'm aware of dedicated to human rights every year on Human Rights Day, the 10th of December, to discuss human rights in the country, review a particular issue which they choose to address, and every political party represented in Parliament has a chance to address human rights concerns in the country during that plenary session. But most importantly, I think it's the individuals we've helped, many individuals over time, through prison visits, through working with young people. All over the country you'll find human rights clubs in high schools, which we help to facilitate. And these are young people who are committed to being human rights defenders themselves, who speak out for their colleagues and friends, who are dynamic and committed to human rights principles and are going to be the leaders of the future in Timor-Leste. So these are the things that I'm really proud of. I think the main challenge is to keep that momentum going, and for the national actors, who I think are strong now and able to carry the torch for us, to continue that work. And if I had to pick out one or two issues which are still issues to work on in a longer term context, one would certainly be violence against women and children, domestic violence, and gender-based violence. It's not something that can be addressed short-term or easily, and that exists in all countries of the world that I'm familiar with. A lot has been done in terms of legal frameworks, in terms of training of officials and civil servants who work with victims, in terms of mechanisms to protect victims, but a lot of work is going to need to be continued for the next 10, 20 years in terms of education, changing attitudes, and making sure it's just not acceptable anymore to use violence against women and children.